What's up, nerds, and welcome to Chapter 3, Season 4 of the Unvaulted Fortnite Podcast. I am your host, Squatingdog, but my Twitch rival competitors call me 8th place because me and the Bonsai Bros slayed out. Who else can say that they eliminated Tfue? Probably only like 4 people. And if you haven't come by my Twitch already, shame on you. Anyways, welcome to another episode of Unvaulted. New season, new items, new battle pass, new PM. He finally got back from Italy on his honeymoon after finally prioritizing Fortnite again. Welcome back. How was the trip?
It was good. I don't know if I'm reprioritizing Fortnite. I think I still prioritized it. It's just I didn't say anything about that. So, but no, it was great. I had a very surreal moment of seeing my family's hometown of 6,000 people. That was something super cool. I've been wanting to go to Italy my entire life. I turned 32 on the trip, so there's another mark you can put there. But yeah, it was great. Me and my wife got married in September, and we were going to do it after the wedding, but with COVID, it kind of ruined everything, and so we waited until now. I'm glad we did because the weather was amazing. But I will say 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks of Italian food is tough. It is really tough. So don't go there and expect to eat anything like diverse because it's a pasta, it's a pizza, and it's gelato. It's those 3 and nothing else. So
love that. What was it like to not play Fortnite for that long? I don't think I've ever had a hiatus of not playing Fortnite for 3 weeks.
It was, it's funny. I would say the first week and a half, I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I didn't even think about it. It wasn't like having dreams about it or daydreams or talking to people about it. Like I would see things on Twitter because the cool thing about that time zone was me and then friend of the pod, HypeX, were awake at the same time. Because, he's, international and I was there in Italy. And I would see his tweets like live, like as he was awake. And I was like, hey, no one's commenting on this. This is like super cool. So I was able to see kind of the leaks roll in when everyone else was sleeping. But other than that, it was 24/7 walking, 24/7 eating, 24/7 tours and learning about the culture. And I just didn't think about Fortnite until I would say 5 days before we left, and I was like, I need
especially with the new season.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I think if I had left when the new season showed up, I would have been like, I need to play.
Right.
But because I left the last 3 weeks of the season, it was almost perfect because I'm like, oh, there's going to be no new updates, besides lore stuff. And I can kind of ride the season out off into the sunset. I will say I did have a moment on the flight to New York where I pulled up my iPad and I did play Fortnite on the plane. It was like 400 ping and I couldn't move, but I thought that was super funny. So
hanging out in a bush.
Exactly.
Well, we do have a lot of stuff to talk about because this is the first podcast of the new season 4. We, for those that played the event, we slapped the living out of Sloane and sent her back to the hole she came from. Meanwhile, the rest of us on the island have just been vibing, like quite literally vibing, which is the new season 4 of Chapter 3. So we got a lot to talk about. We got to break some stuff down. And how I think we should do this is maybe we prioritize 3 different encampments. We have love, we have hate, and we have TLC. Tender, loving care of the things that we would like to see maybe changed a little bit and made more appropriate to our new season. So let's break it down. Let's talk it out. PM, you ready? Let's start with love. What is something that you love about this season?
The new POIs. I think right off the bat, Rave Cave is where I've dropped every time. I love how I just love that whole section. I think that is so cool. It reminds me, and I said this in your chat, it reminds me of, I think it was 2018 or 2019, the summer when they did the burger in person.
Oh yeah,
you remember that one?
Right.
Yeah,
and then
and then the summer theme kicked in with like what is it? Why am I blanking on the desert place from Chapter 1? But that place was like full of summer stuff, and there was summer this and
Paradise Palms and all that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is giving me that same vibe, and I saw it and I knew immediately I was just going to be landing there the entire time.
I feel like there's something really special about the summer seasons in particular in Fortnite. I feel like It just it really is a lot of fun. It's just
There's
fun
a purpose.
Yeah, it just seems like there's like even with the new, so we've got 3 new POIs currently as of 2 weeks into the game. We've got Rave Cave, which is essentially like the old IO base, except turned into a party cavern, essentially. Just paint everywhere. Like it's just like it's a vibe, a total cool vibe. Then we've got Greasy, which got overrun by shrooms. So like there's these new mushrooms in the game that you can jump on, and you can get height up on these massive mushrooms, and they have like, you know, chests scattered throughout, a couple like hidden details in there. We've got like a shark head from chapter 2. We've got the old bunker. What is it called? The
I think it was just the bunker.
What's the 3? There was it was in the middle of map chapter 1, the 3 sheds that were together, 3 different colors, red, blue, and
Dusty.
Yeah,
Dusty Depot. Yeah, that's right.
Dusty Depot.
But they call it like they call it something else.
There was a bunch of them.
Yeah,
but it's not a POI. It's just like a small little nod to it. So and then they have the chair, the editable chair that's in the game as well, which
I love. I love that thing.
Yeah, it's cool. So they kind of like sprinkled some of that fun stuff in there. They also have an Alice in Wonderland reference inside of the middle of Greasy Grove. If you go there, you can see some tea and some crumpets, and like it looks like maybe potentially Alice in Wonderland could come through this season. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. And then we also have Reality Falls, which is my favorite POI. It's a massive tree. It looks like something with the 0 point is either the tree is sucking up 0 point energy through the water, and it's like flourishing this massive mega tree. And now there's like this small progression. We're seeing these roots start to move themselves over. This week in particular, it has made its way into Logjam, kind of destroying that area, which is interesting because if you go north of where Logjam is, it looks like they are rebuilding Logjam up there. So it is speaking to something that I love, which is, I think, the progression, map progression. We've talked about this a lot on the podcast. I really think Epic, if they're trying to tell a story with the map, they should be doing that. It shouldn't be like, here's a new POI, we rip it out. Here's a new POI. Like, make them in like fade in and out of each other, right? So like, let's say for instance, this like massive Reality Fall tree destroys Logjam, and then the tree maybe gets cut down for some reason. Keep Logjam destroyed, right? And then like have them do something with it, like build something new, like whatever it is. And so I think like it looks promising that we might be moving into more map progression, potential stacking of things rather than just taking and placing. Yeah. So hopefully that is the case, but we'll have to see. What else you got? Things you love?
Saplings.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I think that is such a cool way to introduce, like, again, a progression thing where each new game you kind of get this new tier of weapons. I also just love it, and this is going to kind of tie into what I think I put down as TLC or hate. It's hate, but I just really like it when I get good weapons. So any way that you could get me good weapons, I will be happy. And so when I see a tree with gold, I'm like, cool, I like this. And so I just like the fact that I can get good weapons really fast and then we're good to go. It reminds me of why I love the Alien season so much, the Invasion, because of the mini game in the beginning was so much fun. Like I could leave with all gold. And so that is super cool to me. And so I think this is a really cool way of doing it as well, because you kind of have to be patient with it. It's not like going up into the mothership and then always coming down with gold. It's like you could get blue, you could get purple, you could get gold. And so I think that's super cool.
And for those listening that don't know what saplings are, essentially you can throw a seed into the ground and that seed grows a tree, and that tree produces fruit. And when that fruit is produced, every 6 minutes, it produces 3 items that you can take from that fruit. So you can harvest it. Essentially 3 green items or 3 blue items. how you level it up is you have to weed your tree. So if you're out there and you're like, I don't understand what's going on, all you have to do is look on the mini map. You should see an icon, a tree icon, and that tree icon is your sapling. It's somewhere on the map. If you haven't planted a seed, you won't have one, but it carries over between games. So what's cool about this is like, if you keep weeding your tree, you can get legendary loot just by dropping on your tree. And there's eventually you can weed it to mythic level. And when it's mythic level, you get one mythic item. And wherever your tree is planted on the map depends on what you will get. So if you're in the desert biome, you'll get a different mythic item than if you're in the mountain area or if you're in like a green pasture area. So that's kind of like a cool way for people to control a little bit of their drop. So for example, we just did Twitch Rivals. I mentioned that at the beginning of this. Me and the Bonsai Bros, we threw our trees next to Reality Falls because that's where we were dropping, which netted us a bunch of free heals and some really good weapons right at the beginning, which a majority of people will do this, right? They'll drop at an IO chest where they know they'll get at least a purple weapon out of it and maybe some good heals. We had this in the past, but now we can kind of control where we drop. We don't have to drop at that specific POI or location or whatever. We can manipulate it by taking our seed, dropping it somewhere we'd love to drop, and now we have better loot in those places, which seems like a very big win, but it also feels like a little overpowered in the sense of I feel like every game I'm ending, if I get to the end game, I have all gold weapons at that point in time.
Yeah.
So it is a little interesting of like, we have a lot of loot right now, free loot all over the place, because I could go harvest your tree and get all of your gold items. Like it's really kind of an interesting dynamic that they added this season for sure.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the point of arena, like I'm thinking of it as a competitive mindset of being able to kind of mark your POI and then you always know that you're going to have something there. I think that is super cool.
Yeah, totally. Because like it sucks when you drop somewhere and then maybe it's like 3 chests and you got lucky and got one of the 3. It's like, well, now I don't like my game is off now. You know, I have to pivot from that. So the tree kind of like fills in that gap, which I think Epic is kind of using as like they're playing around with a lot of really cool mechanics like this that I really appreciate. Another thing that just got added, like literally just got added, is the Grapple Gloves. Have you messed around with these yet?
No, I've been working all day, but I've been watching you and other people kind of use it. But I will say I have mentioned this many times on pod and on Twitter that the Spider-Man Mythic needed to stay in the form of a grappler, and Epic listened.
Yep.
And so I'm going to say that I am responsible for this new grappler. So you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we have you. Yeah, but the Grapple Gloves are different than Spider-Man's Mythic, right? So like Spider-Man Mythic had 80 shots. The grappler only has 30. With the Spider-Man Mythic, if you ever touch the ground at all, your timer reset to when you can thwap again. Where with this, if you slide, you can still continue grappling, which is cool. Keep your momentum going, which I think is a push forward. 80 shots is a lot. So I feel like they went 30 is a more reasonable thing. But then with Spider-Man also, you could pull out a weapon at any point in time, at any point of height, and shoot somebody in the face.
Yeah, which I think they should keep.
Where the grappler is not that way now. So the grappler is you kind of like fly up and they see you and you have to wait until you touch the ground to shoot somebody.
I don't get that. Like, I don't get why they changed that. Those are one of the things like we're going to talk about another one later where it's like, why did you change that? Like people like that. People want to do that. Right. They want to fling off, get their sniper out and boom. Yeah. Like that's what they want to do. That is satisfying. And you just kind of took that away.
It does feel really great doing that. But I also understand that it is the most frustrating thing, especially if your audio isn't that great, to just all of a sudden have someone in your 1x1 and you're like, how did you get here? And why am I already dead? And so I do think that there is like, it's more, I would argue it's way more balanced than ever before.
For sure.
Which will cause people to like, I feel like there's pros and cons now of like whether you go impulse or grappler, you know, like there's a valid point to just using impulses and avoiding grappler altogether. But grappler can get you across the map in seconds where impulses can't, so they have multiple tools that you can choose between based off of your play style. And I think that's why they went that route. And I think it's probably a smarter decision all in all.
Yeah, I think I think it's balanced and totally fair, but there's no fun in it. I mean, it does suck when someone, gets into your box with the Spider-Man mythic and one shots it and you're done, but it's so much fun to do that.
It is.
That's why I enjoyed them so much. So
yeah, well, you're gonna have to try them out, and then we'll touch base with you again.
I'm gonna play tonight to try them out for sure. Yeah. So.
Let's see. What are the things? Oh yeah, I put that the battle pass this season is really incredible. We have this Vibin theme, which is awesome. So we got these outfits that are really trendy, really cool. We really see Fortnite kind of pushing into fashion, not only with the collaborations that they've been working with, but like also their own cosmetics, kind of like hitting a new tier of classiness, like of aesthetic, where that is really cool. Like I'm really impressed with like what they created. And then we have Darth Vader. it's like this whole vibing thing, and then it's my dad Darth Vader is here, like angry and pissed and like not vibing at all. Like what's going on with Vader?
It is so obvious that the tier 100 skin has become a sales pitch.
Yeah, sure.
To companies for collaborations. I mean, we had, think of the last 3 seasons in the tier 100 skins. What are they? Right. Darth Vader, right. Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, right?
Right.
Didn't fit the lore. Didn't fit anything to do with the battle pass. We're just going to throw them in there. Tier 100. I miss when the tier 100 had like a finishing stage or like had like a actual meaning behind it. And you were like, oh, that's why he's tier 100. But I just kind of feel like it's gotten lazy. But again, money talks. I can't say anything about that.
I mean, it's nice to have Darth Vader in the game, but
if you just put Darth Vader out as a skin, you probably would have made 10 times more money than you would having them as a tier 100 battle pass.
Well, they still will. There'll be a different variant of Darth Vader that'll come in through the item shop. So it's like they're double dipping. I think.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I feel like the battle pass as a whole is a W. I've got some stuff I hate that we'll talk about in the battle pass specifically, but like I think overall, like cool edit styles, different stuff. We got Indiana Jones coming through, which I grew up with Indiana Jones. I'm cool with that. Whatever. Maybe kids won't be. I'm not sure. But then I think it reaches an older audience. The new Indiana was supposed to drop around this time, the movie itself, but COVID kind of pushed it back.
Yeah.
So it kind of like the timing of it's a little weird. But then we have like an awesome trailer of Indy like running from a boulder, which they added boulders in this season that you can like that go
knock
after
down
people. It's like so it's fun, it's like it's fun. It just doesn't. I don't know if Indy or Vader really fit the vibe and theme, but like I'm sure that there's going to be implications for them in the future. Yeah. My best guess is Vader's going to get his own nice little POI and maybe take over this season. Like all this cool, happy, chill environment. He just like is making a mega base in the corner with lava and all sorts of fun stuff. I'm hoping that's what happens with the Bugle. Like,
yeah, me too.
But yeah, I think he might be like the start of chapter or season 5, right? Like he might be starting hey, I'm not here vibing. I'm here to do some things, and maybe we'll have some Star Wars stuff coming soon enough with that.
Yeah, I love one of the new songs they put in. I think it's the one that you have now is your lobby music too. It's kind of that more kind of dubstep-y EDM. I don't know what the name of it is, but it's always in my head. It comes with the tier 1 skin. It's like her soundtrack. Yeah. Syndicate, right? Is that the name? I think
Sylvie is the first one. Are you talking about the red and
the red and blue one? Yeah, so because she has a soundtrack, and it's that one that I think is fantastic. I think they did a great job with that. I just like that the skins look good.
Yeah, Totally.
Yeah, they don't look bad. Like I saw them and I'm like, oh, those actually look really good. I'm excited about that. And so that was fine. Although I just don't understand Darth Vader. But again, money talks. So
yeah,
whatever.
And we still have a bunch of things that we don't know about that will be coming in a few weeks of like,
yeah,
we still don't know certain pages. So it'll be cool to see what's also coming through. I've got two more things, or I guess three. I loved the event. I know you weren't there for it, but I felt like a Power Ranger, and that's everything I want in life. Like,
it was the first event I missed, and I was so bummed.
What did you think about it from a spectator experience?
Well, I watched it on 180p. Stuttering every 2 seconds, but I did watch it back on 4K on the flight, so I had to see that. I thought it was cool. I love the interactive events they do. I just think Fortnite does it better than anyone else.
Absolutely.
And so I haven't seen them do an event that's been terrible.
Yeah.
I don't understand the whole Sloan thing.
Event. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the worst part with events is if you don't make it or you can't.
If you don't make it, yeah,
it's kind of.
Usually I'm like I block the calendar off. Like I'm dead serious here. Like I will put it on the calendar. I I tell Holly, my wife, I'm like, hey, hour before this, I'm in here. Like I'm not moving from here. I need to get into the lobby to make sure no one gets in before me. I'm coordinating with friends. I'm like, hey, you need to be here 30 minutes early. So you know. And if you don't get in, you're out. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I know how it goes, but I thought this event was great. I thought the coolest part was again, the most random part of just Darth Vader, just putting the lightsaber up. I was like, that is really cool and random. But again, I think that plays into what you were talking about, how as POI, they've hinted at the reality kind of portals.
Yeah.
Like maybe that is a reality portal that we'll see in the future where they do have a battle. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Touch the lore, like I think, like there's a lot to talk about. Like the comics just released for the Marvel side of things. We have the event where Jonesy and The Rock become buddies. They call him the Legend now.
The Legend.
They go off to fight Geno. And so there's a lot to unpack. We'll definitely have to spend a full podcast and bring in a guest who knows what they're really talking about to like dive into that. But yeah, there's a lot of material here. But what's crazy about this season as a whole is it just feels really relaxed. Like
it does.
It's like it's not stressful. I feel like there's like always like loud, annoying, like Sloan or some enemy that like shows up and is like yelling at your face and screaming and like the sound's going nuts. And you're like, I just want to play this game.
You just want to play. Yeah.
And so Vibin kind of feels like a nice breath of fresh air.
I for a second I thought you were talking about the gameplay, and I was like, okay, there's some things that I'm not happy about, and that tilt me. But the minute you brought it up, I do agree with. I haven't had an NPC try to gun me down from 300 miles away. I haven't had an NPC do a twirl and try to break into my box out of nowhere. I think the most annoying thing of this season has been the annoying thing ever since the beginning of chapter 2. And that is the sharks are just so annoying. When I am trying to pick somebody up near water and they just bust in, stop that. There should be a code that they write in that says, okay, you can bust in except for when he's picking somebody up. Because I've died so many times to that this season that I can't take it.
See, I like that for comedy's sake. I like the spectator for that for sure. Like if I'm watching a stream and that happens, like I'm dying laughing, which is why I appreciate it. But I think there are limits, like there might be, they might have stretched a little too far into like, okay, we get that Sloan can shoot you, but across the map, headshot 3 times in a row. That's not cool. We can't have that happen, But yeah, so I mean, like vibing, we're chilling right now, and it feels great. Like it feels not stressful, just a lot of fun. Another thing that they added this season that I'm really excited about is Tilted Towers. So Tilted took a massive blowout from the war, and a few buildings have broken down. How Fortnite is changing Tilted is really cool here. And if you're listening to this, like, let's do some research here. It's really rad. They opened up their creative assets to have us design the buildings. So there's 3 buildings in particular that they're allowing a shop, a residential building, and then a food place. And they give you all the assets in creative, and they give you the ability to create in between these parameters. So it's like maybe a 3x3 5 high, and you can build anything inside of it, and then you can send it to Epic Games, and they can either approve or deny what you put in there. But you can only use the assets that they allow you to use.
Yeah.
So it's very typical Tilted. It's not like exotic materials. It's very like very Tilted Towers.
It won't be crazy.
Yeah. At least not starting out. And so I think what they're going to do is they're going to slowly start rebuilding parts of Tilted using the community. And so I got my community together, and we created a really cool map that we're calling Sweaty Seats. It's essentially, think like a Windows or Apple store, but for toilets. It's like classy. It's like the retail side of Flush Factory. And I feel like it would be banger. I think it would be so sweet. You can check out my tweet on it if you want to look into it. I hope, and it got approved. Epic approved it. So now we have to see if I get one. Like, they're going to pick a few of them, and then they're going to let us vote. And so if you're listening to this podcast and you don't vote for me, if I make it, I will be so sad. But if we do make it, I'm going to be dropping at Sweaty Seats every freaking game until it disappears, because that's so cool that they're allowing our community to create it. They're calling it the Block 2.0. We had the Block, it was a little overpowered, but now we have this, and I think it's pretty rad.
Yeah, I think it's cool that they're just allowing people to do this again. I think that was one of the things that... Did they bring it in for Chapter 2 at all?
No. Chapter 2.
Yes, that is something that I wish they did bring in, because it was always so cool to always have a new POI every update. You know, something just completely random. Someone would build. It just was like, whoa, this is cool. I love that they're bringing that back in some fashion. I do think, and I do hope yours gets selected, and I will be going there at a tribute.
How amazing
it does. It would be incredible. But I think the thing that'd be more incredible is if we got the Unvaulted Podcast studio. So Epic, if you're hearing this, you know, put some microphone assets in there, and let's go ahead and put that. We can have some game assets where they're playing the podcast in the background. There we go.
That'd be sick. So a lot of great things this season. We touched on quite a few of them. There's so much more to come too. Like, you can never fully rate a season until it ends. There's a lot that they're changing and tweaking. We've had some gun adjustments. We've had, you know, they're already like kind of trying to look at feedback and change some things. However, there are some things that there's some gut reaction that me and you have had of the season that's like very bad. Like, this is not good. This is the opposite of what I do not want this in the game. And my number one thing amongst everything that they could have done wrong, they did this wrong. They did not give us a lightsaber pickaxe for Darth frickin' Vader.
And I think the worst thing was in the preview of the season, he pulled out the pick, like the lightsaber, like it was a pickaxe, and then you just give him like a shovel.
He's got like some staff of sorts that is... You get some weird staff like is here, and it's like, why? And you gave Obi-Wan a knife. Like, what are you thinking? So, and I know, I guess this is my best guess. I don't know. Nobody from Epic tells me. I want to know. I think they still want you to play the game, so they make lightsabers exclusive to being an item instead of a pickaxe, so that you don't have any reason to, you know, like, it brings you back. Like, oh, lightsabers are back. Let's play the game. Like, I feel like that's the reason? ?
If they put in a poll and they were like, what do you want? Lightsabers as an item or lightsabers as a pickaxe? It would be 90% pickaxe.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. Like people love the lightsabers in the game when they're in there for like a week, but you really can't do anything with them besides farming. Right? You can
not anymore. This last time they took away farming with them.
Exactly. So you could defend, you can attack, but there's such a cooldown to where anyone spraying you is going to get you eventually.
They got real nerfed this last time, which makes it like less exciting that I can use a lightsaber.
So I should just have it as a pickaxe, and I would be totally fine.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think, I mean, they can make money, which is fine. They'll make money off of the outfit, but like, that doesn't bring people to play the game.
No, but
so maybe that's the ploy. It's like the coolest weapon ever made in the history of any type of story ever can only be utilized when you play the game, not just because you have it in your life.
I get it, but at the same time, I only use it for the farming, and then when they got rid of it, I didn't touch it. I was like, nope, I'm good. It takes up a slot at that point.
It feels so wrong to run around as Darth Vader with a freaking staff of Moses. Like, what the heck is going on?
There were so many memes when that first came out. Like, everyone was like, "Are you kidding me?"
I tweeted that like he's gonna get a shovel,
and you were right.
Obi-Wan got like a knife. It's so sad. It's so sad. All right, what about you? What's something that you dislike about this season?
I'll start with the easiest one. The ballers. I do love ballers. I like what they used to be. I don't like this new iteration of the ballers. I hate this charge but not charge feature that they're now implementing. Like, you only get this limited time that you can use this baller. Like, I get it. You do not want an FNCS where there's 50 ballers flying around and breaking things in the end circle, but there are so many different ways that you can approach this. You could make every baller automatically blow up in the third circle. You could have their, shield be half of what it is now. So people can't sit in it forever. If I'm going to be in a baller, I want to be in a baller. I don't want to be in a baller for 2 minutes. Like, I want to be in that thing, swinging around as much as I can. So again, it's another example of Epic bringing in something that you love, but pulling out something.
Yeah.
And then you hate the thing again. And you're just like, I don't want to use this.
And there's like 5 ballers max on the map, like already, which already makes it feel pretty limited.
What did Epic bring in last season that everyone loved that they pulled to make everyone not like? The heavy sniper.
Yeah.
They were like, here's the heavy. Oh, but you can't headshot somebody for 200. And it's like, then what's the point? So they love doing these things where they bring things back. Like, oh, here's Tilted Towers mixed with Salty.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, come on, like, just bring it back the way it was. That's how we want it. So that's my first thing. I will keep it light on that one because the other ones I'm not happy with.
You're gonna get real intense. The second thing for me is gonna be the dork outfit. I call it the dork outfit. It's the Stormfarer.
I don't understand your obsession with this character. I was in the airport and you were just, and I don't know if it was because in 9 a.m. Italian time was like 2 a.m. for you. Maybe you were just sleep deprived, but you were like going at this character for no reason, and everyone was like, "What is going on?"
I just think that so like I get so proud of the battle pass. Typically, I'm like, you pulled out some A-list like characters, some incredible assets, some beautiful designs. And then you bring me Stormfarer.
Well, what's wrong with him?
He looks like he is just like every henchman ever created in the history of this game. He is the most boring outfit I have seen in a battle pass. And they just casually like, here you go. Like, why? Who wants this? And if you are listening and you're like, oh man, this is my favorite freaking outfit, DM me, go on Twitter. We're going to have a feud because I think he is the worst one ever created.
You think he's the worst outfit ever created?
So boring. Not ever, Zoe, but like so boring. It's like if you're going to forget anybody at a party, it's this guy. I guarantee you. We'll loop back. I'm going to remember this moment. We'll loop back another podcast and be like, hey, give me the name of that skin I hated, and you will not remember its name.
Okay, guaranteed. So there's this theory that there's things that are good, there's bad, and then there's mid. Okay, so mid. This theory says that mid is worse than bad.
Yeah.
Okay, because good, you're good. People like it. Bad, you're so bad, but you're still polarizing. Like Zoe is so bad that it makes her kind of unique. The Peely can be so bad, but it's really unique. And then you have the Stormfarer that's just so mid. that you're just like, why? Like there's nothing to it. So I totally get where you come from that, where the mid is worse than the bad, because it's like you're nothing. You're not terrible to the point where it's funny, or like that it's like that it's ironic. So
right, you have a horde that's like, okay, I might not wear you, but at least you have a really really catchy song.
Yeah, and then you wear it like. You wear it like once or twice as a joke, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's so funny." And then you wear like your really cool skins, but then you wear the Stormfarer, and everyone's like, "Whatever, I don't care."
So forgettable, and you don't. I see what you mean. Forgettable, like that's most outfits. At least you remember for some reason. Yeah. He will be forgotten, guaranteed. He's
just as forgotten as the NPC skin that was in last year's battle pass that was in the cave, who I'm blanking on his name, that was the SMG that couldn't shoot straight if it tried.
Yes. Gunner.
Gunner. Yeah. Those skins are just so bad. Like I see them and I'm like, I wish I can delete those. Like I wish I could click delete and never see it again.
Yeah. NFT me this outfit, I'll give it to whoever wants it.
I give it to you for free. No, you would. I would pay you. I would give you Ethereum to take it off of me.
And I hope the person that designed that outfit isn't listening to this podcast.
Yeah, I feel so bad because I'm so
roasting it. I mean, hit or miss. So I'm sure somebody out there likes it. Probably somebody who also likes mid stuff, but it's not me.
I'm not saying it's like your life work is terrible, because I think that's ridiculous. Right. Obviously not. I'm just saying in the concept of like every other skin that's come out, it just doesn't stand out. But maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the point.
Maybe we're missing it.
Hide, so
we're probably missing it. If we're missing it, just add the Unvaulted Podcast and we'll figure it out.
Just let us know.
All right, your turn.
Okay, this is a big one, and this is one that I've had an issue with for years now.
Okay.
I hate the loot pool in chess. I hate the fact that Epic has devalued chess throughout the seasons. When you first played the game and you heard the chest noise, you were like, "Oh, yeah, chest. That is so cool." And then you open it, purple tag, blue tag, gold tag, and you were like, "Oh, that is so cool. Like I got to open this before my friend who tried to beat me there." Now it's like, "Oh, there's 3 chests over there. I don't care."
Yeah.
It's whatever. And it's simply because so many chests nowadays have gold AKs, or sorry, gray AKs, green pistols, the worst shotgun imaginable, maybe a mini every once in a while, some gold. And it's like, what is the value of a chest if I'm just getting god awful loot? Like I will skip it sometimes. Like I will see it in the distance if I have like a blue shotgun and be like, I could get a purple one, but the chances are likely I'm going to get a gray one. And so I just skip it. So I really hate the fact that they have completely like neglected how that system works, and they just throw everything in there. I think if they prioritize, getting rid of green and gray in there, I think it would make it a lot better. And Wylan agrees. My
dog just showed up and was like, "Hi guys."
I think if you had blue, purple, and gold, and just a lot of blues, I think it would make the chests a lot better.
Interesting. Yeah, and I feel like to maybe further that frustration, you have what we call epic chests.
Yeah.
Which are, I don't know, 5% chance of all chests being one of those or whatever it is. And you open that, and the insult to injury here is that you get a purple revolver.
Yeah.
And you're like, there is nothing epic about this.
No, there isn't
at all. In fact, I am now sad. Like I went from like, an epic chest to I'm never opening this again.
Yeah. I don't understand what they're doing with that system. I think they need like an overhaul of it. But that is something for years now that I've been slowly getting more and more upset about. And I've always loved the 100% spawn rate. I don't know if they brought it back or not, but it seems like they haven't. I think they should bring it back, because people get, comfortable with spots and knowing things are there, especially if you have saplings where you can kind of dictate where you're going. Just bring in 100% spawn and just leave it at that.
Yeah, I wonder, because I feel like I understand that it's a BR. They want to have guns out there that aren't going to be the best. And, you got to test your chances, but it really is deflating opening 7 chests and not finding a single shield and just being like, is there a system maybe where like they could do a proximity, right?
Yeah.
Where there's like amongst 10 chests, one of them or three of them will have minis, one of them will have a shotgun, whatever it is, like whatever percentage you want. But like, because you're in at least a proximity and you have slayed out this area and have earned your spot at this loot. Yeah. Like, I don't want to get more band-aids. I got to heal up. You know, I gotta fight the next guy that's going to third party me in a few seconds. And if I don't have something here, this whole game was a wash. And then I have a bad feeling from my experience rather than my skill being the issue. It's what I'm getting from the game. Yeah. And I feel like what I'm getting from the game you could have a full bad day. Like today for me on stream, it was a bad day of finding stuff. It was rough. And I was like very frustrated. And it was because I was opening and finding things and I had to rely on my sapling. I had to rely on other means of getting loot.
Which is tough sometimes.
Yeah. So I agree with what you're saying. It kind of makes sense. But I feel like, we've had the same system for so long. Should we look into it a little bit better? And maybe that's what the sapling system is, you know, maybe.
They need to just kind of re-brainstorm how to prioritize the chests again. I think it's such a cool mechanic to have in the first place, but I think it's become so numbing. It's just everything is just the same. It's boring, it's repetitive. And then I think the worst feeling in the planet is when you go to a place with 3 chests, right? Like, you know, the spots that always have like 3, and you're like, oh, I'm with my duo. Like, I'm going to open up these 2 and gray pistol, green shotgun. And then your duo opens up like a gold shotgun. And you're just like, are you kidding me? Like, that is the worst feeling. You're just like, if I just chose that one instead. And so like, I think if you can eliminate that feeling, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good one. I don't know how you would fix it, but I do think like, there should be some sort of, bad luck, trigger the next chest to have better luck than all of the bad luck that you just got or something, you know, like that could be cool. Yeah. Okay. And then we have a topic that I feel like is a good one. I died having this gun in my hands 7 times today.
To put this in perspective for the listeners, I think you got knocked on top of tilted. You got res, and then you said, get this gun out of my inventory, and you flew it out. Like, you took it and threw it off the building as quick as you could. So there's some backstory for this.
Yeah. So, I mean, they call it the Hammer AR. And it just recently got an adjustment. Apparently it's better now. So I was like, I'm going to give it a try. I've got a mythic one. I'm going to destroy with it now. I was up against another kid who had a Ranger. I had my cursor perfectly covaxed on his forehead and just shot, little bit of in between so that you would get the cursor to go back closer to his face. Missed every single bullet, every single one. And he also was missing it, embarrassingly enough, to where, and that makes sense. It's a Ranger. We expect that from that gun at this point. Yeah. But your new AR, in which you are like, we spent development money. We spent, there's a guy out there that is designing a brand new design, has to put wraps on it, has to go through all this hard work to put it into this season. And you're delivering it to us like it's a good gun. And you put it in my hands and you asked me to shoot somebody with it. And it misses every single bullet. Why? You are wasting that poor guy who made this gun. You are wasting his entire job. It's his entire job. Like, it's not okay. It's not okay. So
I'm gonna double down and just say every AR in this season is garbage. Like, I know the Hammer is terrible. For the love of God, why? What is it? The Striker? What's the other one?
Oh yeah, we had the Striker. Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called? The
but it's not in the game right now. We have the AUG, the Hammer, and we have the Ranger or the Striker.
Ranger. No, it's the Ranger. That is the worst weapon they've ever come out with. I mean, I look at it and I'm like, no. I see a gold one and I'm like, there isn't a shot in hell I'm taking that. I don't know what it is and their fascination, and we will get into this in the TLC because it kind of ties into another gun. Their fascination of like, oh, we have these really big staple guns like the Scar and the original AR and, you know, this and this, but instead of giving it to you, we're going to give you a god awful variation of it. And it's like, you didn't need to give us the hammer AR. You could have just given us the original AR. You wouldn't have had to do that because you already had something that everybody loved. And it's like, there's another example of Epic being like, hey, here's it is, but not really. And then you're just kind of sit there and you're like, bro. Come on.
You could call the hammer, and it could look like a hammer or whatever, but just give us the Scar. Well, you could just trick us at this point and we wouldn't know better. It would just be fine. I just am tired of like them going, oh, we gave you more bullets, or oh, we did one more damage. Don't do that. Just make the gun hit the person.
Yeah,
it's what I want. The better that gun is, give me a mythic one that is easier to hit people. Heck yeah, it'll feel like a mythic. Don't just do damage. I don't care. Like, it's gonna all come back to 250 health anyways. And what is one little damage perimeter gonna do? Not much. Not much at all.
I've never felt more inferior, I guess is the word I'm looking for, or just awful with any of my AR shots than any other season in this one.
Like, dude, the AUG is still killing it for me. The AUG is where it's at.
It is so bad for me. Like, I literally am on people and I'm like, why isn't this hitting? This is kind of ridiculous. And then I go to creative and I'll play like Bio Zone Wars with my friends because sometimes we just like to switch it up and just kind of get active. And they'll have like the MK and the Scar, and I am just beaming people. And I'm like, okay, why is this not in the game? And then I think to myself, well, it's because I shot you down in 5 straight shots, and that's not really fair. But again, Epic just loves to do this. They just love to come out with these variations that are not as good as the original ones, and then everyone just ends up hating them. Like, think of all the guns. Like, think of the shotgun that we have now that we're just like the striker pump. It's like, okay, you gave us the pump, thank you, but you didn't give us the pump.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest here. Like, we love the original pump. Bring back the original pump. You gave us the long shot pump. Okay, we thank you, but we want the combat shotgun.
Yeah.
And it's
the whole loot pool situation is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's like they use guns to make a season feel fresh, which I am grateful for. Like, I'm not advocating to have the pump forever. I don't think that's a huge that's a good play strategically for them at all. But like, you can't vault a good weapon and bring in a horrible one and go, that seems good. Like that doesn't feel good. So now I'm playing a season that felt great last season and feels worse this season in terms of my long range. Like, that just is it's kind of a weird thing. I would rather it be like, sure, innovate the gun, but like push, like, have we learned from the past 4 years? Like, that this is not what we want. Like, I think like that's where it gets difficult. You gotta water down the loot pool. I get it. You got to water it down. But like, if I have a mythic weapon, why doesn't it feel like a mythic weapon? If I have a even, you get the tracker silence pistol, that type of stuff, like that, those are great ideas. Like, why aren't we just moving in that direction a little bit, where it's like, okay, I might have the hammer and it might not be doing the damage or hitting the right person, but maybe every shot, every 10th shot burns the ground next to my enemy. Like, at least it'll do damage then, like,
switch it up in some way.
Let's brainstorm that a little bit. Let's make it a little bit more engaging than just like, here's another skinned weapon that's worse than the one that you loved last season.
Yeah. I think this is a great transition into the TLC section.
Yeah, let's go.
Honestly, because I think my first TLC is one that kind of relates to this, and that is the TAC shotgun. I think the TAC shotgun needs to come back. I have this theory that Fortnite is locked into like a IP battle over what the TAC shotgun looks like, because they just like they can't display the image, or they can't display like what the tac shotgun is because someone else technically owns the right or something, because they are consistently flirting with bringing in the tac shotgun, whether it's the auto, the two shot, the doof, or something else. They are consistently flirting with this, like, here's the tac shotgun, but not really. And it's like, just bring it back. Just give it back. Why do you want it back?
Why do you want it back? Because you hate the shotgun loophole or what?
No, because I actually like the auto shotgun because it reminds me so much of the tac.
Sure.
I think the tac pump meta was so much fun because you had this combination of either you one hit somebody or you strategically pump them, boom, boom, and then move on. And so I think the auto shotgun again is the closest you'll get to the tac, but it just reminds me of the tac, and it just confuses me why they won't bring it back. Like the nostalgia person in me wants to see that in my inventory, but then Epic's just like, no. Like, you will accept this auto shotgun, and I'm like, just give me the tac. I just need a little more, love and care for that. That's all I want.
The shotgun meta is a little weird right now. We get that the two shot is unique.
Two shot can go.
Some people love it. Some people love it. Some people do. I have been playing with it a little bit more, and I kind of get it. You kind of have to use it, switch to your SMG, use it again, rather than wait for your shots. But it is. I've never been a fan of any burst weapon that Fortnite has created. The AUG being the exception, just recently. Just
because of the red dot.
But, right.
Honestly, yeah,
exactly. The red dot is what solidifies it.
The two shot can go.
Any type of burst weapon. It's like, I think what Epic forgets is like, we want the most control we can get out of our gameplay. Mm-hmm. That's really what it boils down to. I want to know, like, I am fine losing a game if it's all on me. If it's because I have bad aim, great. That's awesome. But if I am doing everything in my power and shooting directly at a person, it feels so bad when you have a burst weapon where the first bullet goes and the other one goes behind you. Like, that feels so bad. That is not a feeling of like, I want to use this again. And so the double shotgun kind of has a little bit of that, where your first shot is probably going to hit and your second might. But it's like, why do we need that second shot then? Like, because I want to control as much of my gameplay as possible. So we see people going to the auto right now, which is like, I think classically where we're at. And then if you're doing builds, you're close enough to where the striker pump, I think it's called, people will use that over the auto because you can get more damage output if you're really close. But no builds, I feel like people are using the auto because they're kind of far enough away, so that means you can tack on more damage consecutively rather than just like one shot that might do 30 damage from the striker pump.
There is like a psychological thing in no builds to have the auto, because when you get hit with damage repeatedly, you freak out. Like, even if it's one damage, you're like, oh, I'm getting hit, I need to move. And so like you can kind of scare the person by just keep firing at them, and then they start like jumping, and then you just kind of wait and hit them one more time, as opposed to like hitting them with the pump, and then they're like, oh, I only took 10 damage. I can kind of get back to it. So I can see no builds being a huge catalyst for that. But just stop flirting with bringing back the tac, and just bring back the tac. Just bring it back.
I want the tac back.
I do. I want that look in my inventory. I want it there. I love the tac. I thought it was a great shotgun. I just love that they just do these things that are like, oh, here's kind of the tac 2.0. And it's like, no, just give us the original one, please. Thank you.
For sure. That's good. My next one is, so we're in the TLC, if you're listening, what we think needs tender, loving care. I'm interested in what's going on with the weather system these days, Epic Games. You brought us a weather system. You were proud of it. You got rid of it last season. You brought it back halfway this season. You didn't give us lightning storms anymore, just simply tornadoes. What's the deal? What's like, who's in charge of the weather system, and why does the weather change so drastically all of the time throughout the seasons? Obviously, probably, like a situation where maybe a team works on it, that team isn't working on the same one the next season. I don't know. But I just feel like you were on to something good here. You're on to something good. Like you could give us droughts. You could give us, there's so much fun stuff that you can do with weather. And we got the storm sickness recently. So I think that's the new weather thing where if you're in the storm for more than 7 or 8 minutes, you start like, it starts tacking on more damage while in storm. And so I think we have a lot to work with here. I feel like we could have a lot of fun with the weather system. I'm cool with the weather system. Maybe it's because of professional matches. I don't know. But I just am like, let's spend a little bit more time like being consistent with the weather system so we can rely on what the heck you're doing with it throughout the season. Because I think it was so funny when I was playing with people like, whoa, tornadoes are back. It was like, yeah. Shouldn't they have never left? I don't know. Like, I'm kind of confused.
I don't know if, Epic knows this, but they own a really cool engine. Yeah. Called the Unreal Engine that does really cool things. Right. And I feel like adding more than just a tornado is something they can do in like one day. And I'm a little confused by how they're not doing anything more than it. Like I thought we all wanted like lightning, like that would have been so cool to like hit a build battle and it kind of blows up or catches on fire. That could be easy to do. When it's the winter time, you can do blizzards like that that has been done before. It's like other than fog, which is the most annoying thing on the planet. I'm with that. I mean, it's cool, but like if you could be in a shooting battle and all of a sudden you can't see anything, and you're like, oh, that's ridiculous. But
during Twitch Rivals, there was a chug cannon out in the distance. We couldn't build; it was no builds, and one of the Bonsai Bros went out there to get it, and another team had high ground and was just shooting him. He almost died, but he got back to our bush and was like, I don't know what to do. And then the fog rolled in, and we're like, let's do it. And then it worked out great. It was like such a cool moment. Whereas like that couldn't have happened if they didn't have that mechanic in the game, right? So there is some cool, like I'm all about weather system. I think like you have to adapt to the circumstances, which I think is great. And I don't like adapting to different gun choices, obviously, but I know, the weather system's cool.
I think if they introduce two things, and that is lightning that catches things on fire, and a tsunami of some sorts, to where there's just a rain, like an earthquake that kind of happens, and then a tsunami that comes in, and it's very rare that it happens, but it happens. And what it does is it kind of washes part of an island away, not away, but it'll wash every build you ever did, and then bring it back out, and then all that loot is gone. I think that would be super sick. But again, they were like, here's a tornado. Yeah. I'm like, okay, thank you.
Well, dude, imagine the lightning storm, right? Like for your baller issue. What if it gets electrocuted? That baller's full charged again.
Yeah. Or how about you just don't have them be charged and just, use them unlimitedly? That is a great way to do things too. Yeah. So there we go.
Sure. All right. What do you got for TLC?
One that I will bring up here that I think a lot of people can agree with, but no one's really speaking up, is again, Epic's ability to give you something and not give you the full thing. We love Rift-to-Goes. Everyone loves Rift-to-Goes because it's a really cool way to get out of a situation. It's a cool way to rotate if you're late behind the storm and stuff like that. But the early iterations of the Rift-to-Go were cool because you could Rift and grab an item. Yeah. I could Rift, grab the minis, and I'm good. Yeah. They got rid of that. Sure. So now I have to sacrifice a slot. So if I'm in the storm and I have great weapons, but I need the heals, I can't take my rift and then grab the heal and go. Yeah. Why did you get rid of that? Everyone loves that. Everybody wants that slot. Right. I don't get it.
It's such a sacrifice. Even when you're playing with like a squad situation, the squad will be like, you guys want a rift to go? And everyone's like, yeah. And then like, everyone just stares at each other like, who's going to be the person that has to give up something?
Yeah. And it's usually the one guy who doesn't play the game that much that you're like, oh yeah, go ahead, take
Brian, do it. Yeah, do it, like, Brian. You're going to die anyways. We're going to have to reboot you. Yeah,
exactly. In how it starts is like the last one to touch their nose kind of thing, where it's like, oh, I have minis. Oh, I have med kits. Oh, I have half pots. And then the guy that has like a bandage is like, fine, I'll drop the bandages. And he like picks up the rift and then like it's good to go. Like,
Yeah,
that is such an easy switch. Just bring it back to the way it was. That needs some TLC because I love the rift to go. I love that mechanic, but it's like they refuse to give you the full thing.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I also think you can take that one step further with we talked earlier about the grapple gloves. So Spider-Man gauntlets, when those were a thing, if you wanted a new pair of Spider-Man mythics, let's say you were running out of thwaps, you had like 5 thwaps, and then there's another one that had 80. You couldn't just switch to that slot and then pick that other one up to replace it. It would just throw the other one back down. So you might think, because in any other circumstance, in any other part of the game, if you have a shotgun and you want another shotgun that's better, you could pick it up and it would replace the shotgun that you have or whatever item that you have in your hands. And so for whatever reason, this didn't work with the Spider-Man mythics. Then they changed it to where it did that for like a week and a half. And then another update came out and it reversed it back again. And the whole community was like, if you're in a bind, it's really difficult to go into your inventory, get rid of something, then pick it up, rather than just quickly switch it and then get out of there. Especially because if you're using that as a tool to leave, it's particularly annoying. Yeah. And so with the grapple gloves, we have the same issue again, where it's like, for whatever reason, if I have 4 grapples left and I know there's a 31 right there, I can't just pick it up. It just puts it right back down. Yeah. Very frustrating when you're in the middle of a fight. And I think if they could adjust those things, that would be really great. Because we've learned from that. Like, I feel like they got that feedback in the past. Like, why didn't they just like take that into consideration and bring it back? I don't know. It feels weird.
It does.
Yeah. TLC for me is Vader getting a lightsaber, and I want to know why is he here? Why is he? Why, he's not a Viber. Darth Vader like almost died in lava and has been like sitting in bitterness his entire life.
He's literally the opposite of vibes.
He is the opposite of vibes. What is he doing? So my TLC for Vader is he starts building a nice little base at the Bugle, builds a nice little family of stormtroopers, and starts invading the place.
Give us the stormtroopers.
Give us an AT, storming the map, ruining the vibes.
Yeah,
come on, that's what I want. Give it to me. Yeah, we all want it. Everybody wants.
We do. I mean, everyone wants to see the Bugle go for what is his Vader's place called? I'm blanking on the name.
Oh, I tweeted it, but I had to look.
Well, with the tower and the whatever. Yeah. Everyone wants that, especially if they can include the underground base that is in it too. That would be so sick.
Yeah.
100%. Make him matter. I think he just doesn't matter right now.
He just feels like he's ruining the vibes.
Yeah. Although I do think his emote is the coolest emote so far.
For sure.
Of just the Vader walk. You see that in lobbies and you're like, that is so sick. Yeah. So I'm glad they have that.
And I think we're going to be getting his lightsaber because in the trailer he throws his lightsaber at someone. So that's going to be coming. So that gives me thoughts that we're going to have something with Vader soon. We just don't know about it right now. Yeah. And if we can have an edit style where he's like faceless, how cool would that be?
It would be kind of scary.
Yeah, but
it would be cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
All right, next on you.
Real simple one. Vending machines.
Okay.
I think they need a little TLC because I think right now, or actually, let's go back to kind of the way it was before. When you saw a vending machine when they first came in, you were like, oh, 100 wood for a purple shotgun, 200 brick for this, and 300 or so on and so on. Nowadays you see them and you're like, okay, a pistol and some ammo, whatever. Like, I'm not going to spend any gold on that. So I think they need to do something different with them. I think whether it's going back to the old system of you pay with materials instead, or you pay like the traditional way where it's like you kind of pickaxe it and then it would like switch the weapon. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I just don't like the current system. I think it takes too long to click it. It gives you that really corny sound when it pops up. And then you have to like sit there and choose the option. By that point, you're dead. And I just think they need to change that interaction in some way. I think the best one is the healing one. I think that needs to stay. That is cool. I just think
it's all about that random one that a chicken could pop out of.
But
Honestly,
usually,
I love that one.
I do too, because it's the most. It's like it's
stuff, and it's fun.
It's fun.
It's like fun, and I think that's the premise. Is like vending machines should be fun.
Yeah, like think about how fun it was when you first saw the vending machines. When you saw like a gold one or a purple one, you were like, oh, "I'm getting mats right now and going to it," and then you would run straight for it. Nowadays, you can see like the shotgun image on the thing and be like, "It's maybe blue. I don't really care."
Yeah,
and it's like you just move on. Bring back fun vending machines and bring back the way they used to look when they displayed the image on the vending machine, and that was pretty cool to go through. I think that was the best. Cool. So yeah, I think that one's an easy fix, but I doubt they'll switch that one up. So
yeah, that's interesting. Another one from you is Battle Pass. Yeah, like how you unlock the Battle Pass.
Well, I think
tell me a little bit of why you chose that. And for people that are listening, right? So previously it was like a line of like unlockables. And the cool thing about why that was fun is when you would unlock something after your match, you would pop into the game and it would be like, you just unlocked this. And you were like, oh my gosh. And you're kind of excited about it because it popped up for you. Yeah. Now we have a system where you can pick and choose over a tier. Like it's kind of the same thing, except you have more agency of what you can pick first.
They give you like a currency that you can use to like buy something in a tier. Right? Yeah.
But you don't get that sense of like, ta-da, like when somebody sends you a gift in Fortnite and you're like, oh, like a little chest, like a little present pops up and you're like, oh, this is exciting. It kind of lost some of that charm. Yeah. So is that what you want back?
Yes. I miss when it was just a linear 1 through 100. And I think the thing that I miss the most is I didn't have to go into the Battle Pass section to redeem anything. Yeah. Like it just automatically would give me what I got based on the XP that I had. I think they just need to shut this system down of like, you can keep the added on stuff where it's like, oh, you did all the challenges, you can go through the system and redeem it. But when it comes to just the traditional Battle Pass, just go back to the 1 through 100. Just make it look like that. I think everyone loves that. They're doing way too much with this redemption system. And at the end of every season, at the beginning of every season, I open up my Fortnite and I have 300 new items because I never redeem any of the stuff before.
Oh, interesting.
And they automatically redeem it for me because I've cleared it. You know, I'll be like level 220 and I've cleared it. But I never redeem it because I just don't want to do it. I don't care to do it. It's not like the first thing I think of when I'm done with the game. And so I get into the next season and I have every old item just in that 1 through 100. And I'm like, oh, next. Yeah. Just bring that back because everyone's doing that anyways.
Interesting.
So
I feel like this is a very interesting topic. I feel like probably our listeners are split on this too.
Yeah.
Of which one you might prefer, because it's fun to they give you agency, but it's like it's not significant enough to where it feels like it matters.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like, ooh, I could pick between this weird emote or, you know, like this
variation of a
change, you know, like
a spray.
It just feels very interesting where you might be after something in the Battle Pass that is something cool, but like I feel like a majority of you unlocking stuff is kind of like, oh, I don't have enough for that one. That's 20. I have 5. All I can do is this one. So you're kind of like, it's not as like gratifying at all.
It's not.
Where like if you had like, ooh, I have like 200 stars, I can get 5 things right now. It's a little more gratifying, but it just feels, it just feels off. I think maybe for that reason.
It's just another added step that didn't need to be in there. And I just don't know why they did it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. And it's funny because Epic employees, I think, are curious about this too. Like,
yeah, I mean,
we've got a lot of questionnaires about this type of stuff as well, which I think
the thing that a lot of people gravitated to, like in the early days, was the simplicity of Fortnite. You know, it wasn't anything outlandish. You didn't have to worry about loadouts. You didn't have to worry about, you know, certain positions. You just dropped in with your friends, you played a game, and you were done.
Yeah.
There's
even in picking the battle pass stuff, you have to press and hold to unlock. It's like a lot of, it's just kind of weird.
It's like, what am I going to go against my decision for the 5 V-Bucks you gave me? It's like, no, I'm going to click that. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like at the end of the day, and this goes in part with, I think, a lot of the UI UX that they've done recently, whether or not it's the game selection or even just as simple as choosing the game mode in the beginning, like they used to do it with, you know, creative, battle royale, and save the world. It's like, why are we trying to overcomplicate things? Why are you throwing 70 different game modes in my face when I just want to choose trios? Like, why are you doing that? Why are you throwing all these add-on options to the battle pass when I just want to see what the 76, you know, tier is?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I just think they need to revert back to the old style and just keep it simple because it works.
Well, yeah, I feel like you could even make it, you can make the current system even simpler. Even if they really like were bought in on this, maybe there's like data of why they do it the way they have. But you can
there is,
you can make it way simpler than how it is currently. I agree. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and then I added one just now at the end, but it popped in my head, and I think it is something that needs some TLC, and that is ammo in the inventory.
Okay.
So I'm not talking about like the types of ammo. I'm talking about, so they introduced the DMR, right?
Right.
And the DMR is not a AR. You wouldn't use it as a, you know, AR in battle with something, but you use it as a sniper, right?
Yeah.
But the ammo it takes is AR, right? Yeah. So there needs to be a system in place, or there needs to be something in place that's like, hey, I'm carrying an AR and I'm carrying a DMR. Okay. My AR has 10 bullets and I'm almost out of ammo. My DMR has 10 bullets, but I'm full clip. I want to be able to take that DMR ammo and put it in my AR ammo.
Like the gun?
Like
bullets that are in the gun.
Take the bullets in the gun and put it into the other one. And so that other one's out of ammo because you're not going to be using that DMR as often as you can be using the AR. Think of how many times that you've picked up, like, you're low on AR and you're like, I need AR quick.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go out and you're like, okay, I have 2 ARs in my inventory for some reason. One's gray, the other one's gold, but I'm low on ammo. And then I pick up some ammo, but half goes to the gray and half goes to the gold. And then you can't do anything about that to change it. There should be some sort of system in place where you can pull the ammo from other guns and put it into the other ones, especially if you duplicate them. I think it's great that you can drop them, but a lot of people nowadays are carrying weapons that kind of have mixed ammo, especially the AR ammos.
Yeah.
And I think there should just be some redesign to where you can kind of pull that out. I think that could use some TLC.
Yeah, I feel like very early game, I feel like is where it gets kind of sketchy.
But there's situations where that happens.
Right? Yeah. And I'll use up an SMG and then I'm like, oh, this has 3 bullets left. I'm going to pick up this gun on the ground that has whatever's in its clip just to hope that I can finish off this last guy or whatnot. Yeah. I feel like it's an interesting take.
I mean, we've all been there. Like you'll have a really nice AR, but you'll have 15 bullets, and then you go to pick up, or you accidentally have a gray one on the bottom storage, but you're in a fight and you're like, I can't think twice about getting rid of it. I just need to think on my feet. And then you see ammo, but it's only 30, and then half goes to the other and half goes to the gold. And then you're like, I don't have any more ammo. This is ridiculous. And so it's like having a system to where it doesn't automatically just like split them to where you can kind of control where it goes. I think would be super cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's good. That's our TLC segment. We nailed it, I think.
Yeah.
You got some passion out of this one. I feel like
there's just a lot of no-brainers. I mean, the one that really stands out to me is the whole rift mechanic, like why they would remove something that simple. Mm-hmm. I just feel like Epic knows people use it and they're just like, nope. And they just like take it.
I don't know what it is. I wish there was more transparency on some of that. I honestly think that from my understanding and kind of what I gather is that people that work at Epic are people too. And I think that there's just mistakes that are made. Like, and then
I agree.
Or there's like, they redesign something, maybe like the vaulting system, and it somehow affects how other parts work. And if they created the vaulting system in a specific environment that utilized old mechanics, those old mechanics come with it type of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's just like a lack of double checking or a lack of like cross comparison. Yeah. But yeah, I always imagined that it should just be better every season. And I think when you have a new Unreal Engine, you have like all of these new dynamics. And me being a app developer, I've also realized that when one thing breaks,
everything else breaks.
You just can't fix that one thing.
No.
There's like a foundational aspect that you need to repair for that one thing to succeed again, especially if there's new demand for how it works in a new ecosystem or whatever. And so I feel like Epic is just like pushing on all fronts at the same time in their expansion process. And I think like this is a part of the things that kind of fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
That like aren't like horrible. It's not game breaking or anything like that. And we're lucky that they're a development team that are really quick to fixing the game breaking stuff. But I do think like if there was a little bit more urgency on some of the things that drive people nuts, that would be huge. Like one thing that comes to mind for me, if you play creative, and there's so many people that play creative before they play a normal match to warm up, to do aim, to whatever, and you go into a normal game, you guys can try this. Those that are listening, go into creative, play a creative map, and then go into a regular game. You can now not pick up items like you can't harvest, you can't harvest like mushrooms or whatever. You can't pick them up and harvest them anymore. You can only consume. So if you have no shield and you drop in a meadow of mushrooms in which you could just like grab 15 of them, you cannot do that if you have 200 shield or 100 shield. You can't pick them up. And it's been in the game forever. And it's so annoying to me. Like and especially with like animals, we forgot to get into animals, rideable mounts and stuff. You can throw food and it recharges their sprint meter. And if you can't do that, your animal isn't going to be able to transport you. Yeah. So it just feels like
there's just little things.
Those are these little things that when you play as much as we do, you kind of hold on to it and you just go, Epic Games. But really, I think it's just something that either isn't like easily reportable or it just falls through the cracks because of how big the game has gotten.
Yeah, I mean, I know code is super complex, and then there's probably reasons why things work a certain way, but yeah, there's just so many small things that pile up, and the worst is when they pile up all in the same game. I think that is when it starts getting really annoying. Yeah. When you can't get that extra item for your rift to go, and all of a sudden you have no heals coming out of the storm, and then you get third partied, and then you're just like, this is ridiculous. Why did I even try this? Like there's just little things. They're not going to make you not play the game. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like you sit there and you're like, why is it the way this? Like why?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. And if there was like somebody at Epic Games that it was just their job just to be like, this is our intent, and like that would be so helpful. That would just be so helpful. I've always wanted there to be like a Jeff from Overwatch for Fortnite, where it's just like the person that takes he's kind of the fall guy in a lot of ways. Yeah, but he's like relatable and approachable to where people are like, I'm not gonna hurt. I don't want to hurt you because you're a face to the product, and you are talking to us. Thank you. And so I feel like I've always thought this. I always think that Epic should have that guy. Like, here I am. This is what we're trying to do. We're figuring it out. Here's some changes that we plan to make in the near future. No specific dates, but communication. I feel like that would be great.
Yeah, I agree. I almost feel like they used to do that early on, and then they kind of stopped. And I wonder if some of that has to do with like maybe NDAs for like collaborations, and then it just kind of became nature to like not say anything. Again, that's business, and I totally get it. But yeah, if there was someone, like, you could even go on Twitter and just like respond to something. Right. And then people will be like, okay, cool, understandable. Like if someone went on Twitter tomorrow and was like, oh yeah, we removed the Rift to Go ability to pick something up because it just didn't make sense for this and this, I'd be like, okay, that sucks, but thank you for telling me.
And actually, there is a status website. If you guys are listening, the status website, I don't have the link for it now, but I could probably post it on Twitter under our podcast. You can click on it and it will show what bugs they are working on, which is helpful. So they do communicate. Yeah. I just think there is a little more directly a human touch to it. Yeah, really. It feels more kind of like robotic, I guess.
It needs to be more relatable.
Yeah, maybe so. Well, if you get Epic Games, if you need a person, let me know. I can do that on the side.
We have a great medium to do this, by the way. Yeah. If you want a nice podcast episode dedicated, weekly, we can do it.
All right. Well,
we'll be the Fall Guys.
Yeah, we'll be the Fall Guys. Unvaulted Podcast, the Fall Guys. We'll just change it to that name.
There we go.
Hey, PM, thank you for sharing your voice on this new season. Super exciting. I can't wait to see how it evolves over time. It should be a lot of fun to watch it. We're going to do a lore podcast real soon here, and then bring on a few other guests that you guys would be excited to have in the interview space. But new season, lots to talk about. We'll go through the comics, all sorts of stuff. So lots to tune into. So thank you if you are listening for tuning in with us today. Feel free to contact us on Twitter at Unvaulted Pod or the Squatingdog, or...
Oh, for me? Oh, I'm getting a shout out?
Yeah.
If you can get over the hexagon profile picture, which is me.
Oh, gosh.
It's OH, it's PM. So, it's PM. So, there you go. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, it's PM.
Be sure to contact us. We'd love to stay in touch and communicate with you as much as possible.
You can ratio me as much as you want with the hexagon memes. Just go ahead and do it. I've fully accepted all of them. So,
until next time, I'm Squatingdog. We'll see you later, nerds.